All right, I'm back. This is Carlos, and welcome to the Black Metal Alchemist. Today is an important or special day, let's say, because I will be explaining to you a bit of why, of the new direction of the Black Metal Alchemist. Or more, because we already talked about that last week. So what I mean is that we will be I will be dealing a bit more in depth into this new concept of modern alchemy. Now, what modern alchemy is gonna really be is basically a sort of left-hand path type of method or paradigm, let's say, because what we really need in today's world, I think, is a full-blown paradigm shift. Nonetheless, it's gonna be an important first episode. I guess that from wherever you are listening to me, you can already hear the nervousness and tension in my voice. But nonetheless, let's dig into it. What is modern alchemy? All right, so to begin with, I wanna first talk about what do I see that the problem is, all right, and then we will deal into the this new concept of modern alchemy or neo alchemy. I don't know. You figured out a better name, but so far is what it is. So. When I started on this journey of working on myself and figuring out what was wrong with my let's say with whatever traumas or whatever problems I've gotten along the way until that moment. When I started working on myself, I saw that really what I was learning, for example, I was learning things when it comes to personal development and self-actualization, and I was also learning a lot from my own psychedelic experiences. I was learning a lot by digging actually into learning how to be a coach, how to be hypnotherapist, and the different what people have arrived to the conclusion of what reality is, how do we create it, and all that stuff. Now, when I started digging into that, it was pretty obvious to me that what I was learning, number one, was not so difficult, and number two, if I would have learned that in school, that would have saved my fucking ass. We are talking about things such as how to deal with your emotions, what the emotions even are, relationships, the nature of why people do horrible things, you name it. Like any sort of small piece of understanding that I was getting from the journey was life changing almost. And I would be like, why didn't I learn this in school, right? Now, so this is where I wanna begin to start, because I was thinking that, all right, well, talking about let's say, negative experiences during childhood, well, that's relatable to most, but not to everyone, right? And also to have problems of, let's say, mental problems, or to have ADHD or fantasy-prone personality or whatever, it's gonna be just relatable to some of you, but not all of you, right? Now, while thinking about how to introduce this concept, I arrived to the conclusion that, well, there is something that is absolutely relatable to each of you, to you, no matter where you live in the Western or non-Western world. We have used the first, let's say, 16 years of our lives to get indoctrinated by a dysfunctional education system. Now, I know this is a kind of big statement to make, but this is what I mean by dysfunctional. First of all, during all those times, since you ever stepped a class in school, unless you have been to some sort of different school or you have been homeschooled, and even though you have been told what to do, all right, you had an agenda as a kid, and then school comes as this sort of institution you go to, in which you must go, first of all. So here we already have a very implicit part of the equation. You don't know why, but you must go to this place. Now, once you step into this place, you are all times told what to do. Right now, we're going to think about math, or language, or natural science, or religion, or whatnot. Okay? Now, if you think about it, what is actually teaching you is to obey. You are told what to do, you have to do it. All right? So you obey. Now, next one, there is one curriculum for everyone, and that's just how it is. Basically, whatever personal preferences you had, whatever strengths and virtues you had, they had to somehow just fit in. You know, basically they taught you to accept what it is, it ironed you into becoming part of the herd. Okay, some sort of group that can be controlled, right? Now, at least in my educational system, and I think that it goes for the big majority, the system itself of reading and then making an exam about it, and basically favors memorizing over understanding. That's why so many people finish their studies and they just know how to recite. It's like just an encyclopedia of facts, or facts that have been told that they are facts. But when it comes to actually understanding and making those principles, let's say, meaningful for you for your life, that's not necessary, or not as necessary. For example, math. Yeah, you need to understand something, or just simply go through the motions that you have memorized, that you have to go. Right now, if something, another thing that it has, that the educational system has in common, or that all education systems I see that have in common, is that it punishes the questioning of whatever status quo there is. So, for example, if there is rules of behavior, and you as a kid you go and say, I don't think that's fair, or I don't think that's useful, or whatever that might be as a question to authority, that's going to be broadly considered a negative thing. You're going to be punished by it. So once you take all these concepts and you think, and you put them together, then you kind of understand that we have been told, actually, all the school have been telling one big lesson all along, ever since you came the first day until the last day that you had your feet in there. That was, all you have to do is obey, accept, agree, and you will be rewarded. Rewards will pour into your bank account and into your house. Let me fix this. All right. Now, once you are out of secondary school, the one you had to go, you have pretty much no idea. At least you haven't been told the best way to make and maintain friends and relationships. For example, like, and where I'm heading to here is that there are very important things that I've seen in my life that I had to figure out by my own. Like, really, what my life and what your life and what everyone's life has pretty much in common is that our relationships and friendships matter, the way we think matter, our economy matter, and so on and so forth. But once we go out of secondary school, we don't know, we haven't been told to think about how to think on with first principles, for example, or with logic or critical thinking, how to connect dots in order to create a greater understanding of the world. We have no idea, absolutely zero idea, about how to deal and improve our emotions, how to start our own business, how to make a house, a contract, how to negotiate and interact with the government, or not. We have to figure out all that paperwork and all that stuff. How to arrive to our own conclusions and think a bit outside the box. How to be creative. It had told us nothing about our own psychology or the psychology of others. How to, and also how to overcome the bad aspects of life, like what to do with impulses, with rejections, with addictions, depression. How to reason the events that happen in our life in a constructive, positive way, right? We are somehow on our own when it comes to all that, and it so freaking happened that is pretty much 99% of our existence as human beings, I think. Now, basically, once starting to work with myself and in all this career of coaching and therapy and all this, I saw that pretty much all all the official helping industries, psychology, psychiatry, whatever, they are somehow committed to that narrow paradigm of the education system that we talked somehow perpetuates. And it tries to, it's like they all have one narrow paradigm. This is what we do and how we think. And then they basically use authority by proxy. You know, my opinion basically means my opinion matters because somebody else, this important institution, has given me permission, or they accept me. So I'm part of this big institution. Therefore, my opinion is more important than that. Which is what I call authority by proxy. Now, there is not only the official ones. There are there is an ocean of gurus and coaches and entrepreneurs and whatnot. That basically, how I see it, they are somehow overly branded, overly separative, somehow corrupted in one or another way by marketing to one or another degree. Not everyone, right? And there are, of course, some who escape this rule altogether. But in its big picture, now, overall, what I see is that this framework that we were instructed by education is really ingrained in our psyche, and it is then giving the benefit of the doubt. Let's just think that it is very difficult to break out from these paradigms which we learn when we are very young. Now, the same: obey, memorize, agree, and then we will reward you. But I really see it as become a cog in the big machine of society, let's say. If you want to make a profitable, or if you want to make an idea, you have an idea for an invention, then you have to make it profitable, and then therefore you have to adapt it to the market, whatever that will mean, and so you can convince some people with lots of money to invest in your idea. They will also buy it too, but then you will have the funds to make it there. So basically, if you have an idea to change the world, you are gonna have to become a part of the cog, a part of that big machine. Now, yeah, and also somehow, once you begin touching spirituality, let's say, this deeper connection, the meaning of your freaking existence, how to make that meaningful. Then once you touch in spirituality, then there is somebody mocking it or using it for their own egoic purposes or whatnot. So I think that we can adapt. You know, we are creatures of adaptation. That's why we have survived through the difficulties of nature to become the weird creature that we are. The thing is that we are so good at it that in order to adapt to this sort of imposed paradigm of, you have to go to school, you have to do this, you don't have to think about that, you have to memorize this, you have to, then we have the ability to control ourselves, but in order to go through the whole process successfully, we had to change ourselves, mask ourselves, disconnect from ourselves and from our emotions. Until a point in which we are afraid of looking inwards. We are afraid of being ourselves in front of anybody. We are afraid to feel. So no matter how do I see it, but then when I think about it this way, well, no fucking wonder there is an outbreak of depression and anxiety. No shit, you have suicidal thoughts. The inner beating, the secret addictions, the dark side. That those things you like that you cannot tell anybody. You have to keep secret. All those secrets, all the constant stress. We are eating ourselves alive. Now, even when I started to work as a coach, if you know my background with black metal, with my black metal performance and the self-harm and the lyrics and the satanic imagery and the drugs and the chaos. Well, I pretty early on, I started. I needed to adopt some sort of fucking mask, in which I just had to show to everyone my beautiful side, which is the left. I mean, the left is. I'm a bit dyslexic, so yes, and say only the things that wouldn't scare people, and act in a way that was somehow conceived from the very beginning to attract clients. And this really throw me. I know the struggle, man. So basically, somehow, modern alchemy is my answer to all of this madness. Now, what some of the things that one thing that actually led to me getting into this was basically the absolute certainty I have that you have within you all the resources, all the know-hows, all the systems, everything you can need to create the life you want to create, without the need, like without the attachment to, let's say, the world. You don't need me to tell you or a psychologist, or we have been evolved through evolution, and nature is brutal in its process. So you have everything there is within you to be moderately healthy, except some edge cases. You have all the, let's put it, you have you have all the mechanisms in your brain, in your body, and in yourself to create the habits that you need to create, to disengage from the habits that you need to disengage, from processing whatever trauma to doing what you think is impossible without without the need without the need for any sort of fucking input. Now, in other words, I think that if you need to heal, if you're here because there is something inside of you that it feels like you need to heal from, you already have all the mechanisms to heal from that. If you are here because you don't know how to do X or Y, you already have a compass, which you don't know how to read because nobody has ever told you, but you do have that compass. If you want to be, let's say you just want to be a good person in general, you already have that compass. It's called empathy. And if you think you don't have empathy, it's just because you have been you had to adapt, and one of the adaptations that you found along the way was to disconnect from your own emotions. And empathy is just another emotion, another sensation in your body that tells you what you should be doing or what you should not do in this very moment. Now, as it will make sense to you in a second, a big chunk of this work is going to be on working in our self-awareness, working on reconnecting back with all those principles, with all those mechanics, and building up the trust that we have, lost in ourselves, in our intuition, reconnecting with our intuition, with our feelings, with our emotions, with our intentions, with our true selves, basically. So, if you have all those tools within you, within the confinements of your skin, if you don't need to find them anywhere else, then what do you actually need? Well, I don't know you, but I don't know you. But I think that you need the guidance to learn how do you work, how your mind works, how your emotions work, how your spirituality works, how your physics works, how the world fucking works, and how you can use all of those systems in a way that works for you, without ideologies, without specific frameworks and conceptual boxes in which to put things. And if something doesn't really fit there, then it's your problem and you are broken, you know. So modern alchemy is what I call a holistic concept. Modern alchemy accepts the metaphysical aspects of you, of your existence, while at the same time trying to create the least dissonance with science and what it has been seemingly proven to be a fact. Basically, if we are trying to understand and create well-being with a world, then science studies this world and we are in this world. So if there is any dissonance between framework A and framework B, and both are looking at the same thing, well, then that's a problem, right? We need to find some sort of paradigm that somehow gets this, that puts them puts these two things together in a way that makes sense, basically. Now, we will be borrowing some concepts from the past. Okay, alchemy is a concept from the past, and there are many more symbols and principles that we will borrow loosely from the originals. And I mean loosely because, well, things have changed a lot. Like one of the examples I like the most about this is that right now, if you ask anybody, hey, do you consider yourself a sheep that just follows and obeys? No. Everybody is going to tell you no. That's not a positive thing to call someone. As a matter of fact, you have this concept of sheeple, correct? And hold on, behold, Christians, since always, have been self-defining themselves as sheep. Like, that was a good thing. So, right on that time where being a sheep was a good thing, well, what was the evil thing? The opposite, being the wolf, correct? Being autonomous. But now, the self-development industry is all about being autonomous and independent and all that stuff. So, you see, the concepts of good and evil has shifted. So, when using concepts from the past, well, they have to be taken with a grain of salt, because our inner world view or map of the world has changed drastically since then. Nonetheless, those concepts were referring to some truths that are still true today. Now, this also means that we will keep the woo-woo to a minimum, right? Okay, I don't wanna create some sort of fringe, neo-satanic anything. No, it is off the scope of this. It doesn't matter if you like the music style called black metal, or if you are into any sort of goth affiliations or not. This is this is nothing about that. The funny thing is that wherever you look at it, the most you look at it, whatever actually goes to what I believe and what I'm gonna say that what we believe deep down into is actually has been referred as the left-hand path, non-duality, that Buddhists and Hindus and all these sort of philosophies point into, or phenomenology also points towards that. Well, the other day I just found it in a book of the occult back on the day, and it was basically saying that reality is one without a second, and all that shebang is like, this was considered weird when you just need to take a decent dose of psychedelics to just experience it from your own personal experience. Now, I get a bit derailed, but yeah, to me has been while researching for this episode and for researching about to create this modern alchemy and so on, it has been to me like very surprising that all these concepts, I'm not making anything new here at all. This was already been talked and discussed back on the day, but those people had to just hide it away, make it scary, make it convoluted. So because it was frowned upon, to think by yourself, to think for yourself was frowned upon. And you just need also a bit of Christian history, and even artists weren't allowed to go outside of the guidelines of the church, and so on and so forth. Well, nonetheless, now, all in all, alchemy studied, or most people know it, the most basic thing that they know from alchemy was the pursuit, or let's say the art of transmutating something mundane and simple, like it was lead, into something exquisite, like it was gold. Now, while thinking about this pursuit, I thought to myself, well, isn't it that what we have been always trying to achieve, trying to do? We have been trying to change, to transmutate, to change ourselves in order to turn whatever problems, pathetic, drama-driven problems that we are currently facing in our lives, to turn our, it's like life would be like the metal part, from a very mundane metal to a very exclusive one. So from a very mundane life to a very exclusive one. So this is no news, and it came to me as a surprise. That's why I actually stuck with a concept of modern alchemy. Now, my promise is that all you got to achieve in order to arrive to your magnum opus, which is the philosopher's stone, or that material that would turn lead into gold and give immortality and unfathomable riches back in the day. Well, whatever you have to, you need to achieve that is to be yourself, accept that thing that you are unconditionally, and purify it from all the contamination and all that indoctrination that you, like everyone else, have been put through. Now, in order to do that, in order to achieve our magnum opus, or the life we want, we're gonna use a process. Here I'm throwing at you sorry. Here I'm throwing at you all the borrowed terms head on, okay? So back then there was this process called solve et coagula. That means dissolve and precipitate, coagulate. Basically, dissolve and solidify, in case you don't know what precipitate or coagulate means. Now, for example, psychedelics in and of themselves, by design, once taken mindfully and in a right set and setting, and with the right guidance, and integration, you integrate those trips too. Well, that is a process of solve et coagula, or dissolving your ego, which is actually awesome how it actually does that in the brain, and coagulating the experience. That is, you go through a set of experience of mindful or meaningful moments. And once you integrate that into your living experience, then you are coagulating, then you are solidifying that ego that was dissolved, but without the crap and without the uncertainties and doubts and all that stuff that you have got along the way. Other techniques that we are going to be dealing with is going to be a lot of journaling. Anytime that you start journaling about a specific, but a specific type of writing, a writing with questions, a writing in which we ping our unconscious. There are going to be many methods, because we are, our unconscious is a huge thing. I will also explain what the unconscious is. Don't get don't get too critic. We will use journaling, several different types of journaling, meditation, some sort of experiments, some real life experiments, so we don't get into just thinking about the problems and then doing nothing with that. But we are going to be, or I'm going to be promoting to coagulate those pieces of wisdom and throw them into your daily actions. Make experiments with life and with your experience and with existence. Do things differently, see what happens, and we are going to create methods for that. And all of these methods that we are going to discuss in future episodes and so on is going to be pretty much based into this simple process of dissolving and coagulating oneself. Now, although I already touched upon it, let's kind of define it. As we said, the alchemist was a person that was trying to, in one or another way, create some sort of ultimate material, magical in nature, that would be able to transmutate or change or transform lead and other, common metals into gold and silver and platinum by design, giving you endless riches. Okay, because in that sort of, in that metaphor, what I see is basically creating value out of nothing, out of thin air. Okay, so, and then also there is the part of immortality. That's also possible, but we will go into that maybe later on, whenever I think that I can express what immortality actually can mean. You can find immortality through your art, through music. We are still listening to Lemmy and the Ace of Spades, so he's still with us. That would be one interpretation of what immortality is, and that's not to be taken not seriously, because it's a big part of the existence of many people. So, but we will deal into how to achieve immortality later on, because there is also a spiritual side of it, and etc. Now, so how do we translate that to the modern alchemy paradigm? Your magnum opus is going to be your life, your existence, an existence in which you create value in an effortless way, just by being yourself, just by doing what you do, just by doing by doing what burns within inside of you, of that flame that was put out long fucking time ago. It took almost 2 decades to put all that shit down, all your creativity down, all your dreams, all your vision, all your life, you know, all the fucking wonder that you came with, all that curiosity, all that energy, all that shit. No fucking wonder that we are in our adulthood bored and so fucking bored that all we have to, the best thing that we can think of doing with our motherfucking time is just wasted in social media and porn and crap. Is the only fucking thing that we seem to be allowed to do, because that fire within us is fucking gone. We wonder fucking why. But anyway, the magnum opus is that fucking life in which you are yourself, with no with no fucking limits. Talking about fearlessness here, a very big consciousness expansion that we are talking about here, which is fucking possible. I've lived those states, and that's gonna be, and basically that matter that is gonna be able to create that value into this existence. That matter is you. Okay, so you are gonna be the thing that naturally, by design, just transmutate the garbage into fucking incredible stuff through your art, through the way you are. Now, that's your magnum opus. Absolute understanding of yourself, whatever, and the materialization of whatever success actually means to you. Not what they tell you that success means, you know, because one of the problems of you know, of the entrepreneurship world or these societies, that it seems like, yes, let's break from the matrix and let's become free from all this crap by getting money and by getting success. But then you still are a part of this. You're a cog in the machine because you accepted the definition of success that they gave you, and so you are also accepting the mechanisms to which fulfill that success, because it's not the success it's not succeeding in anything related to you, to what's innate from you. It's not succeeding on being yourself, understanding yourself, or nothing. It's succeeding on the common sort of loose goal that everyone fucking has, which is sex, drugs, and fucking Lamborghinis. That's fucking empty. That makes no fucking sense. Now, how do we go about this? Because life is sort of complex, let's say. Well, I have borrowed the three most important statements that humanity has created. Funny enough, I haven't made any of these 3 guidelines. There are 3 big guidelines. If you see at the symbol of the magnum opus, this goal, you will see that is a circle, within which there is a triangle, within which there is a square, within which there is a circle. The three modern alchemy principles are: the all is one, and the second is know thyself, and the third is do what thou wilt. The all is one, which is represented by a circle, because it has been since at least the first time that this symbol is found is in the Tutankhamun's tomb. So it's fair to suppose that they didn't made it up back then and just put it on Tutankhamun's tomb, but it was already a known symbol. So let you imagine how much this symbol is, how old this symbol might be. Anyway, is the famous Jormungand, this snake from the Norse mythology. The Jormungand is this snake that beats his own tail and surrounds the realm of Midgard, which makes sense, but is also known as Ouroboros. This same symbol has been through different cultures, through different times. Same symbol, meaning the cyclical nature of time. Now, that's why it's represented with the circle. Now, the all is one, although it's a pointer to non-duality. Okay, non-duality is a philosophy that, or non-duality is definitely a deep rabbit hole to go into now, because this has been already quite long. I want to finish it very soon. So it's a non-duality pointer. Let's leave it there. But basically, this guideline is about this call for us to tend towards unity, towards growth, towards creation and expansion. Okay, so basically, the opposite would be judging, and making the difference between some people and you bigger. So the all is one is the principle that makes you think about whether something it's this guideline. So you basically will tell you, hey, to keep on criticizing and keep on adding fire into this into this group of friends and those group of friends, or into this group of people or the other, it's less better than to come together, put your differences together, and become one group of people with a common goal. For example, finding what are the differences and fixing those differences and arriving to some sort of solution in which leads to more people getting together as one. That's a much productive or that's a much better approach than doing the opposite. Also, is in the language, divide y vencerás, which is divide and conquer. Yeah, the opposite is the same. For the more differences you find with other people, the more isolated you are, the less powerful you are gonna become. Now, for example, what I'm doing here, how am I following this principle, is by literally doing this podcast, sharing this idea with you, and not putting it under a paywall, making it open source. This is knowledge that humans have arrived through millennia. I have no right to make any profit out of this, and you have all the right to know about this. Make it grow. Now, if you have heard this and understood this, then now we are two. It's you and me sharing this idea, talking about it, questioning it, whatever. Then this idea is already bigger. We are stronger now. That is what the guideline of the All is One point towards. Do this with your friends, with your ideas, with your projects, with your thinking. Growth, creation, and expansion. Now, the second one. Know thyself. Know thyself was an inscription let's see, yeah. It's an inscription in the forecourt of the Temple of Apollo at Delphi, in Greece. We are talking about as old as thinking even gets, right? And know thyself actually is gonna it's also a deep rabbit hole. That's why it's one of the most important things that humans have ever said. Now, know thyself, even in the Wikipedia page that talks about this, states, know thyself is a warning. It's not a tip, it's a warning to pay no attention to the opinion of the multitude, in favor, of course, and I'm adding this, in favor to the study of your true essence. Right? What the multitude say is one thing, but there is no rule in the fucking universe that you have to accept and abide by that. There's no rule in the universe. You look at the stars, they don't say anything. There is no rule anywhere. Okay? And if there is some sort of sense of a rule against something, that rule has been created by another human being. Period. Dig into ourselves, develop self-awareness, develop self-acceptance, finding our true call, our true values, defining our own ethics, defining our own ways. Our own ways, our own rules, expanding those ways and those ethics and those philosophies every day as we keep on experiencing life and having a blast while doing that, is what this statement call us to do. Now, this statement is this principle is represented with the triangle because of the all-seeing eye. That is the symbol which the triangle refers to with this statement, know thyself. Now, the third one, represented by the square, and the square basically represents creation. You know, we're the only things that can make squares. Do what thou wilt. That's this principle from Telema, from the Book of the Law. Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. But that doesn't mean that we have okay, let's do drugs and let's be an asshole and let's just empty our bank account because I do whatever I want and stuff. No. That crap, that egoic sort of shallow impulse compulsion, that's just a defense mechanism from the pain that we and the crap that we have been told to do and accept and all that stuff. We are trying to just numb ourselves with some sort of quick pleasure, because that's the only hope that we have to create a life which is not just fucking miserable. Now, once we have purified ourselves from the mask and the egoic games and the traumas and all other outside the social pollution, there is something to create here. There is something to do in this life, right? And as our will, let's say, our will, just basically how I see this, as you purify yourself, imagine as a diamond. When you get a diamond in the mountains, you cannot see through it, right? So if in one side of it is your will, you as observer, and as that inner essence of you, and you try to do something, you try to change something, but there's so much crap in this sort of breach between your environment and your true self. There's so much garbage that your true will cannot go through. Now, once you purify yourself, once you make that shit crystalline and just perfectly, or the clearer and clearer that diamond, that stone becomes, the easier and easier it's going to be to manifest your will through action in this life. So doing what do what thou wilt is the third principle, in which you will basically, we will call it, or I will call it from here on, your art. Okay, your will is your art. Yeah. That thing that you do, that you would do effortlessly, that will create value. That's the material part of the whole modern alchemy, let's say. The all is one, the all is one, and the know thyself are more sort of esoteric or more spiritual, or more psychological, intellectual. But do what thou wilt is the purely hands-on, get dirty type of shit. Modern alchemy is a new approach, a new framework that aims to basically detach yourself and claim individuality from the status quo, from the way things are, from the indoctrination, basically giving you the empowerment that was taken from you since you were pretty much born in one or another way, in a subtle way, in a strong way. Your ability to act of your own accord and think from your own accord was taken up. So modern alchemy, it's very much based on getting that back, and we are gonna get that back and it achieves such thing through the process of solve et coagula, dissolving and solidify, dissolving ourselves, dissolving our ego, studying our ego, studying our psychology, studying our intentions, goals, values, etc., and solidifying them into a new person, into a new integrated whole, which is going to be more and more purified, more and more crystalline through that process, over and over and over. while we work on through dissolving and solidifying ourselves, we're going to be attentive to the three guidelines, to the three principles that from time immemorial has been put by other wise human beings, which are, first one, the all is one, know thyself and do what thou wilt. That's gonna be how we are gonna achieve our magnum opus, this life worth dying for. By the way, this is gonna be fun also, which it's another thing I see all over the place, in which, you know, doing all this work has some sort of like drama, scary and victimhoodness feeling through it. It's like, yeah, we're gonna have a blast doing this shit. Once you see how some exercises and some things changes the way you see the world, we're gonna have you. It's awesome. Once you are more in touch with who you are and less confused about what you want and all that crap, is fuck that. That's awesome. So all this has, I want to also, but add on it, not some lazy humor, but to to really like, we are doing here the thing that we were born to do, and that's fucking awesome to do. This is all for today. What a long episode. Shit. So this is all for today, and I hope you are motivated. I know that to hear somebody for so long, well, maybe if you are that kind of person that are very interested into what I have to say and how badly I have to say it, then I'm very glad that you exist. Meanwhile, I don't know. I think that this concept is my personal fucking rebellion. My personal rebellion to all that shit that has been confusing me. And I am pretty sure that it has been confusing you for so fucking long. I don't think there is any fucking right to just to just stay in the shadows, and you know, if this makes any money, that's good. If this doesn't make any money, that's good too. I don't give a shit. All I want to be is that guidance, or that fucking help I've never had, that help that perhaps you never had, and that's why I am here for. Now, before we leave, there is some change of things. As I said, I am or I have studied coaching, so all Saturdays after I leave work, I will come here and I will just stream on at least Twitch and YouTube. So if you want to get personal, if you want to comment some of the things that we have been talking here, some of the things that if something has made you think, come and share with me. I will be working in the schedule, and there is also this Patreon link that if you feel generous, you can always go there and become an alchemist. All right, glorious human being right there listening. I wish you the best, and talk to you the next week in the next episode of the Black Metal Alchemist.